What if I told you that the same neurological pathways that create addiction can be rewired to create abundance? That the very mechanism your brain uses to keep you trapped in old patterns can become the gateway to miraculous transformation? The difference between someone who wins the lottery 8 times and someone who never catches a break isn't luck. It's not genetics. It's not even hard work. It's something far more profound and scientifically measurable. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. When you repeatedly think a thought with enough emotional intensity, you literally rewire your neural circuitry. You create new synaptic connections. You alter your brain chemistry. And most importantly, you shift your electromagnetic signature, the invisible energy field that quantum physics tells us is constantly communicating with the field of infinite possibilities around you. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think manifestation is about asking the universe for things. They think it's about hoping and wishing and waiting for something outside themselves to change their circumstances. That's not manifestation, that's desperation. True manifestation is about becoming so aligned with your desired reality that your very presence commands it into existence. It's about speaking from the end result, not toward it. The secret isn't in the asking. It's in the assuming. And when you understand how to assume correctly, with the full power of your nervous system behind you, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new identity. Because you're no longer the person who hopes for abundance, you become the person who embodies it. And that shift in being creates a shift in seeing, which creates a shift in having. Every thought you think generates an electrical impulse in your brain. Every emotion you feel creates a magnetic field around your heart. When you combine elevated emotion with clear intention, you create what scientists call an electromagnetic signature, a unique energy pattern that broadcasts into the quantum field. This isn't mystical thinking. This is measurable science. Dr. Rollin McCraty's research at the Heart Math Institute has shown that when you sustain coherent emotional states, feelings like gratitude, appreciation, and love, your heart rhythm becomes coherent, your brain waves synchronize, and you literally emit a different frequency into the environment around you. You become like a radio tower, broadcasting a signal that attracts experiences matching that vibration. But most people are broadcasting the wrong signal. They wake up feeling the same emotions they felt yesterday: stress, worry, frustration, lack. They think the same thoughts, make the same choices, and wonder why their life never changes. They're stuck in what neuroscientists call the default mode network, automatic patterns of thinking and feeling that keep recreating the same reality over and over again. The moment you decide to break free from these unconscious patterns, something extraordinary happens. You step into what we call the creative mode. Your prefrontal cortex comes online. Your analytical mind quiets down. You gain access to the same brainwave states that mystics and visionaries have used for millennia to access higher dimensions of consciousness and possibility. This is why certain words, when spoken with genuine conviction and elevated emotion, can literally restructure reality. They're not just sounds vibrating through the air. They're commands encoded with the full electromagnetic power of your being. They're instructions to the quantum field about who you're choosing to become. And the quantum field, being pure consciousness, responds not to your needs, but to your energetic signature. Imagine for a moment that your consciousness is like a master key that can unlock any door in the universe. But most people are walking around with keys made of doubt, fear, and limitation. They're trying to open the door of abundance with the key of scarcity. The frequency of your key must match the frequency of the lock. When you speak from a place of knowing rather than hoping, something shifts in the very fabric of space and time around you. Your words become that perfectly calibrated master key. Synchronicities increase, opportunities appear, people show up with exactly what you need. It's not magic. It's the natural result of aligning your internal state with the frequency of your desired outcome. Your voice carries more power than you realize. Every word you speak sends ripples through the quantum field. But most people use their voice to reinforce their limitations rather than expand their possibilities. They say things like, "I can't afford that," "money doesn't grow on trees," or That's just not realistic for someone like me. Case with every limiting statement, they're literally programming their subconscious mind to reject abundance and seek out evidence of scarcity. Your subconscious mind is like an incredibly sophisticated computer that's always listening. It doesn't judge whether your thoughts are helpful or harmful. It simply accepts whatever you repeatedly tell it as truth and then works tirelessly to make that truth your lived experience. When you consistently speak from lack, your subconscious creates neural pathways that filter reality through the lens of limitation. You literally train yourself to see problems instead of solutions, obstacles instead of opportunities. But when you consciously choose to speak from abundance, something profound happens in your nervous system. You activate what neuroscientists call neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections at any age. Every time you declare, "I am wealthy, money flows to me effortlessly," or "I live in abundance," you're not just making sounds. You're forging new pathways in your brain. You're installing new software in your mental operating system. The key is understanding that your subconscious responds to repetition and emotion, not logic. It doesn't care if your bank account currently reflects abundance. It only cares about the dominant pattern of your thoughts and words. When you consistently speak prosperity with genuine feeling, your subconscious begins to accept this new identity as real. It starts looking for evidence to support this new belief. It begins attracting circumstances, people, and opportunities that match your new energetic signature. This is why affirmations alone often fail. People recite positive statements while feeling doubtful or desperate inside. The words say one thing, but the emotion says another. Your subconscious always responds to the emotion behind the words, not the words themselves. When you speak from genuine knowingness, when you feel the truth of abundance in your bones, your declarations become creative commands that reshape reality. Think of your voice as a tuning fork. When you speak from fear, you emit the frequency of fear, and you attract fearful experiences. When you speak from love, you emit the frequency of love, and love shows up in your life in countless ways. When you speak from abundance, you literally tune yourself to the frequency of prosperity, and prosperity becomes your natural state of being. There's a sacred geometry to transformation that most people never discover. It takes approximately 63 days of consistent practice to install a new belief system in your subconscious mind. Not because the universe is testing your patience, but because your nervous system needs time to build new neural highways and dissolve old patterns of thinking and feeling. Every time you repeat a truth with emotional conviction, you're literally building new architecture in your brain. Neuroscientists call this process long-term potentiation, the strengthening of synapses based on recent patterns of activity. The neurons that fire together, wire together. So when you repeatedly think thoughts of abundance while feeling emotions of gratitude and joy, you're creating a superhighway in your mind that makes prosperity your default way of being. But repetition without elevation is just mental noise. You can say, "I am abundant," 1,000 times while feeling desperate inside, and you'll only reinforce the desperation. The magic happens when you combine repetition with what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls elevated emotion, feelings that lift you beyond your current circumstances into the emotional state of your desired reality. Here's a practical exercise that demonstrates this principle. For the next 7 days, choose one simple declaration. Money flows to me with ease and grace. But don't just say it, embody it. Feel the relief of financial freedom. Feel the joy of generosity. Stand in front of a mirror and speak these words as if you're reporting a fact, not expressing a hope. This isn't positive thinking. This is identity reconstruction at the cellular level. When you declare your truth while feeling the emotions of already having achieved it, you create what quantum physicists call constructive interference, a phenomenon where multiple waves of energy combine to create a more powerful wave. Your thought becomes the electrical charge, your emotion becomes the magnetic charge, and together they generate an electromagnetic field that literally broadcasts your new reality into existence. This is why the most successful manifestors don't just think about what they want. They feel into the state of already having it. They don't hope for abundance, they assume abundance. They don't ask for prosperity, they embody prosperity. And through consistent repetition of this elevated state, they train their nervous system to match the frequency of their desires. The beautiful thing about this process is that it becomes easier over time, not harder. In the beginning, it might feel forced or artificial to speak abundance when your circumstances suggest otherwise. But as you continue the practice, something remarkable happens. The new neural pathways become stronger than the old ones. The elevated emotions become more familiar than the limiting ones. Speaking from abundance starts to feel more natural than speaking from lack. Your entire identity begins to shift. You stop being someone who wants abundance and start being someone who lives in abundance. And when that internal shift is complete, the external world has no choice but to mirror your new inner reality. Because you're no longer trying to create from a place of lack, you're creating from a place of wholeness. The most profound secret of manifestation is this: you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your external reality is always a perfect reflection of your internal state. If you want to change what's showing up in your life, you must first change what's showing up in your consciousness. You must learn to live from the end result, not toward it. Living from the end means thinking, feeling, and acting as if your desired reality has already occurred. It means walking through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who has already achieved what they once only dreamed about. It means making decisions from the identity of the person you're becoming, not from the limitations of who you used to be. When you truly embody this state, something extraordinary happens in your brain. Your reticular activating system, the part of your mind that filters what you pay attention to, begins to highlight opportunities and resources that were always there but invisible to your previous state of consciousness. You start noticing things you never noticed before. You meet people who can help you in ways you never imagined. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't because the universe suddenly decided to help you. It's because you've changed the lens through which you perceive reality. You've shifted from the frequency of becoming to the frequency of being. You've stopped broadcasting the signal of "I don't have" and started broadcasting the signal of "I am." And reality, being infinitely intelligent, responds to your new electromagnetic signature by reorganizing itself to match your elevated state. The mistake most people make is trying to feel abundant after they see abundance in their external world. They think they need proof before they can believe, but that's backwards. In the quantum field, everything exists as pure potential until consciousness collapses it into physical reality through observation and expectation. You must feel abundant before you see abundance. You must embody wealth before wealth appears in your bank account. This requires a fundamental shift in how you relate to time. Most people live in linear time, past, present, future. But consciousness exists in what physicists call the eternal now, a dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously. When you learn to access this timeless dimension through meditation and elevated states of consciousness, you can literally step into the reality of your choice and begin living from that place immediately. It's like having access to a cosmic wardrobe where every possible version of yourself already exists. The abundant you, the healthy you, the joyful you, the successful you, they're all there waiting for you to choose them. The moment you step into one of these identities and begin living from that state, the external world begins to shift to match your new internal reality. Here's one of the greatest paradoxes of manifestation. The more you need something, the more elusive it becomes. The more you chase, the more it runs away. The more desperate you feel, the more desperation you create. This isn't because the universe is cruel or testing you. It's because need and desperation are low-frequency emotions that literally repel what you're trying to attract. Desperation says, "I don't have." Attachment says, "I'm incomplete without this." Fear says, "What if it doesn't work?" All of these states create resistance in your energy field, like static on a radio that prevents clear reception. When you're broadcasting the frequency of lack, lack is what you receive back from the quantum field. True manifestation happens in a state of what ancient spiritual traditions call detached attachment, caring deeply about your vision while holding it lightly. It's being passionate about your dreams while being peaceful about the timing. It's knowing with absolute certainty that what you've asked for is already yours in the quantum realm, even if it hasn't yet materialized in physical form. This level of trust requires a fundamental shift in your relationship with the unknown. Most people fear the unknown because they associate it with danger or loss. But the unknown is actually the field of all possibilities, the quantum soup from which all manifestations emerge. When you learn to fall in love with the unknown, to get comfortable with uncertainty, you open yourself to receiving in ways you never could have planned or predicted. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring or become passive. It means you stop trying to control how and when your manifestation appears. You stop micromanaging the universe. You stop checking for signs and symptoms every 5 minutes. Instead, you surrender to the intelligence of the quantum field, trusting that it knows better than your analytical mind how to bring your vision into reality. This surrender is not defeat, it's the ultimate expression of faith. It's saying to the universe, I know my good is on its way and I trust you to deliver it in the perfect way at the perfect time. When you can hold this state of knowing without wavering, something magical happens. The resistance dissolves, the static clears, and what you've been calling toward yourself can finally reach you. The irony is that the moment you truly let go, things start showing up faster than ever before. Not because letting go is a manifestation technique, but because letting go removes the energetic blocks that were preventing your good from reaching you. You stop being in your own way. You stop contradicting your own desires with doubt and fear. And in that clarity, miracles become not just possible, but inevitable. Gratitude is not just a nice feeling. It's one of the most powerful creative forces in the universe. When you feel truly grateful, you're not just acknowledging what you have. You're aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance itself. You're tuning your nervous system to the same vibration that creates prosperity, love, health, and joy. But most people practice gratitude backwards. They wait until something good happens, then they feel grateful. That's appreciation, not creation. True manifestation requires what we might call prophetic gratitude, feeling thankful for what hasn't yet appeared in your physical reality, but already exists in the quantum field of possibilities. When you say, "Thank you for the abundance that's flowing into my life right now," while your bank account shows a lower number than you'd prefer, you're not lying or pretending. You're acknowledging a deeper truth, that in the realm of pure consciousness, your abundance already exists. You're just calling it forth from the invisible into the visible through the magnetic power of elevated emotion. This kind of gratitude does something profound to your brain chemistry. It floods your system with dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, the same neurochemicals associated with love, joy, and well-being. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, taking you out of survival mode and into creation mode. It opens your heart center, allowing you to both give and receive at higher levels. But perhaps most importantly, gratitude collapses time. When you feel genuinely thankful for something that hasn't yet manifested, you're bringing the future into the present moment. You're experiencing the emotional reality of your desire right now, which sends a clear signal to the quantum field that you're ready to receive. You're no longer broadcasting the frequency of wanting, you're broadcasting the frequency of having. The practice is simple but profound. Every morning, before you get caught up in the details of your day, take a few minutes to feel genuine appreciation for the blessings that are on their way to you. Feel the emotions you'll experience when your desires manifest. Let that gratitude fill every cell of your body. Let it become your dominant vibration. And then carry that frequency with you throughout your day, knowing that you're literally magnetizing your dreams into reality. But let's get specific about how to cultivate this prophetic gratitude. Start each morning by placing your hand on your heart and saying, "Thank you for the perfect opportunities presenting themselves to me today." Feel the warmth in your chest. Then throughout the day, whenever you notice yourself slipping into doubt or worry, return to that feeling. Thank the money that's flowing. Thank the love that's expanding. As we come to the end of our time together, remember this: you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are not subject to random luck or chance. You are a conscious creator, endowed with the same power that spins galaxies and grows flowers from seeds. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is the story you tell yourself about what's possible. Your words have the power to reshape reality. Your thoughts have the power to rewire your brain. Your emotions have the power to shift your electromagnetic signature. And when you align all three in service of your highest vision, miracles stop being miraculous. They become your natural way of being. The question isn't whether you can manifest the life of your dreams. The question is whether you're willing to become the person who lives that life. Are you ready to speak from abundance instead of toward it? Are you ready to feel grateful before you see the evidence? Are you ready to embody the frequency of your desires right here, right now? The universe is waiting for your answer, not in your words, but in your energy. Not in your hopes, but in your knowing. Not in your trying, but in your being. The time is now. The power is yours. The choice is always and forever in your hands.